Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Friday after Thanksgiving to you. That's right. Also known in many parts of the United States of America as African American Friday. It's nice. You gave culture another day, as you give them the shortest month of the year, February, as well. Give them a random day after white people murdered all the indigenous people on the day before. So, in sports, this is the Warren Brothers Sports Show here on the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, here on the YouTube. Blue Jackets hockey. We talk about whiteness. Hockey. They lost Wednesday night to the Philadelphia Flyers. That's correct. We'll talk some Blue Jackets hockey. No, we won't. Most likely not. We will talk Kent State basketball. They've got a game tomorrow against a school called Stetson, which I thought was some sort of like cologne from the 80s or 90s. Didn't like Jack Palance use Stenson? Or is that Brute? Something like that. It's a mildly stolen joke. There was some funny thing on Twitter. I've told you this joke already. It's not good. Cleveland Cavaliers do play tonight. The Cavs. They're playing quite possibly the best team in all of basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks. So we can expect an L there. Oh, yeah. And, of course, the enormous football game coming this weekend. Can't believe it's already upon us. The Ohio State Buckeyes go up north to play that team up north. Oh, yeah, there's another football game, too. I guess that's Browns Steelers, something like that. I'm going to Pittsburgh. The first time we facing them this year. We played them already. I think once. One other game. Something happened. It's here at home. Hugh Jackson is going and saying
some people did some things.
There were some people, and they did some things. It was the Browns and Steelers stuff happened. The Steelers have benched their excellent quarterback, Rudolph, the helmet damaged reindeer or something. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of great jokes on that. We're going to dive head first into the spread later with Dave. Paul Warren made his triumphant return as my brother to the show, of which he is half the namesake, and now he's disappeared again. I don't know what he's doing. You could probably find him out on a corner ringing a bell somewhere. Maybe not now, but at some point. It's something that's kind of like, it's one of the best organizations there is in the world because they're so giving and they're really charitable and all this other stuff. They've got Army right in their name, though. So, that's salvation, good stuff. But they'll murder you with it. They'll murder you with their salvation because they're an army. No, they'll protect it. That's what it is. It depends on which slant you want to take on it. I will go the positive. They're here to protect salvation. Because it's always good to have a good army. Speaking of a good army team, was that right? Got that in my notes. Almost defeated this crappy Michigan team we're going to be playing earlier in the year. See what I did there? It's called a segue, folks. However, I don't really want to talk about Ohio State football to start off the show. I don't know what I want to talk about to start off the show. Probably Ohio State football, I guess. That's what I started doing. I write all these notes down, and then I'm like, I don't like the order I wrote them down in. Speaking of lists and orders and all these other things, like my niece, my sister makes this big deal out of this. Yesterday's Thanksgiving, and we go over there, and my sister makes this big deal out of this list that her daughter has written, her 8-year-old daughter, and my sister's like, you were really high up on that list, Mark. I think you were above me or something. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I'm an awesome person, and my niece loves me more than her own mother. Whatever. And apparently it's not the case. Nikki goes and Nikki's my sister, by the way. The Warren sister. She goes, she pulls it off the fridge or whatever. I assume that's where it's posted. And here I'm looking at the list. I don't see my name. Not me personally. All the way down at number 13, my uncles. So it's a tie between me and the other one, Paul. since he's my brother, he's this little child's uncle. And yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you make this big deal out of stuff. You're second on the list, behind the house. Melody's got the house at number 1, mommy at number 2, daddy at number 3, sister at number 4. I mean, it's a good list. Grandparents, all tied right there. They were like number 10 or something. It's above friends. Number 11 was having money. Number 12 was good health. And number 13, my uncles. So not only did I tie with Paul, who's like nowhere near as awesome as me, but then I'm behind having money and good health. But I was above food. Good food, 14th. If I'm remembering this, I studied this list thoroughly. I used it in our games of Mad Libs. Uncles are 13th. Us awesome people. I'm obvious. I obsess over strange things. If that's not obvious.
How did the grandparents do again?
You guys were tied for 8th. I think it was actually not 10th. So you were above having money and good food, but not as important as a house or her immediate family, which is fair. She sees those people all the time.
Right.
And we all beat her BFFs, which were like 15th or something. I mean, she had a whole list of like 23 things. They made her fill up this whole sheet of paper. But it was more the fact that Nicole, the Warren sister, made such a big deal out of, the uncles were so high on the list. No, like right around the middle. Lucky number 13. And tied at that. Not like Uncle Mark's way up here at 6 and Uncle Paul's somewhere around 17th. Where if my power rankings, no, we don't have to rank everything in the world. But, they make 8-year-old children do it as a class exercise. What are you thankful for? And I think it's just an arbitrary list. Like, it's just listed out. Like, just write everything down. Not like it's a ranking. I read it as a ranking. Melody probably thought out at least like a top 10. I didn't even make the top 10. Uncles combined made a top 10. And that's nonsense because I'm the better uncle. And in fact, actually, it says my uncles. I've got a brother-in-law. He counts too. We're way better than that guy. Joking if he's not watching. If anyone is watching, knows him, he's okay. It's like he gladly works at the DMV. Like that's he does a good job there, honestly. Yeah, I purposely, when I see that he's working, I feel a little bit better because I know I'll get taken care of. Not like I get preference because we're related, but because like he actually is good at his job. But that's like one of those jobs. It is like, it's not as bad as being a lawyer. All the stigma with lawyers, or an accountant, Nicole. And but where it's like, oh, you do a really good job of this job that everyone hates, and make jokes about and things. You can make jokes about every job, though. Like you can make jokes about head football coaches. Those Freddie Kitchens jokes aren't around quite so much anymore. I mean, there still are people calling for him to get fired, which is weird. You don't win this game against the Steelers, they should fire you. You got to win out the rest of the season, you should get fired. Cowboys are talking about firing their head coach. That's Dave Hughes. He called in yesterday. He brought up a good point. There's a big difference between the Cowboys sitting at 6-6, even if they are in first place in their division right now, which is even more mind-boggling. The worst division in all of football, the NFC East, and the Cleveland Browns sitting at where they're sitting at 5-6 with a rookie head coach, Jason Garrett. Isn't that the fella's name out there in Dallas? Guy's been the head coach for however long, too long, I guess is what you would go with. They're clamoring. They're like wishing they had Wade Phillips or Bill Parcells back. They miss those days. They'd even take Barry Switzer at this point, who did help him win a Super Bowl, but with it's like he did it with Jimmy Johnson's sloppy seconds. Not Jimmy Jones, Paul, if you're out there watching or whatever you're doing. Huge Cowboys fan that Paul is. He couldn't have cared
Doesn't
less.
he make sandwiches?
What's that, Dad?
Doesn't he make sandwiches?
Oh, that's Jimmy John's. Jimmy Jones also will give you a freaky fast delivery. Just ask his very disappointed lovers. So since I only have a couple minutes before the break, first break of the day, wrap up those football games from yesterday. Bills beat the Cowboys. Bears beat the Lions. It actually looked like that was going to be a good game, sort of. It was a good first quarter. Blau. It was a dude. He went to Purdue. He was playing with the Browns in the preseason. I forgot about that. People were kind of upset that he got cut because he was a preseason wonder and he got signed by the Lions when he's a third-string quarterback, and he's been forced into playing duty because of all the injuries. Stafford's been hurt. The backup's on percussion protocol. I don't even know who that dude is. But so Blau or Blow or whatever the hell his name is, you'll all remember him from the Cleveland Browns preseason. Along the annals of Ben Gay and other Code Juice from the last couple years, or Sheehan Giuseppe. Well, that kid got signed to the XFL. He's going to be playing on whatever day it is. They'll play XFL games when that starts up in 2020. So that's a good thing for you Browns fans who get enamored with a guy who played a really good preseason game for you or has a nice story. Although I do a little bit of that too. I mean, I follow particular career developments of a guy who played O-line for us like 3 years ago because my dad and his grandfather were in the same band together. And there's no other reason. I mean, I follow an autistic kid who's playing at Kent State just because, like, there's good stories. I do the same thing. That Giuseppe guy was homeless. Makes you think of the movie Major League, where like he just shows up, he's sleeping outside, and it's like, oh, he wasn't even invited. There's Willie Mays Hayes just running faster than, I would assume, the two slowest white guys on the team for that Indians team. It's like, are they supposed to be the fast guys? They're white. It's such a novel idea that maybe Wesley Snipes is faster than two mustachioed, not really in great shape. It'd be like if Paul and I were running and then all of a sudden Wesley Snipes just flew past us. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Paul and I are fat and slow. And, I mean, I'm faster than Paul. I got bum knees and I'm overweight and I was never fast. But Paul runs like in slow motion. That's the other thing. The guys in the movie run in slow motion. Why am I talking about the movie Major League? It's almost the end of November. I want baseball. Why can't we have baseball year round? Other than that, we're in Cleveland. Just play games from Florida leagues and Puerto Rico and stuff on my TV so I can watch it. I don't think they do that on MLB Network. So here's what we'll do, because you got to know what the traffic's like, because if you don't know what the traffic and weather's doing, then how are you going to know what to do today while you're out there fighting other people for meaningless Christmas gifts, many of which you're just getting for yourself? I mean, lie all that you want, but you know that if you are out shopping in this nonsense, it's for a new TV for you. You're not getting that gift to anybody else. You've saved up your hard-earned money from your work, from your job. Some Epic, hello, Epic Radio Show, in there in the chat. Traffic-wise, it is Black Friday traffic. Be safe, be careful out there. If you're like Epic and you're out there working in it, which I assume he is, or if you're just out there shopping in it, be courteous. Use your head. Surprises. What does you liking surprises have to do with anything? It's like, because you don't buy your own gifts. You have kids, so you still get the joy of buying gifts for young children. My nieces have reached an age where it's almost difficult. I mean, it's 6 and 8, and they have almost everything they could ever want. I mean, we live in a day and age where you can just get it. Hey, Amazon. Okay, yeah, just click, tappy tap. Hey, and there it is. It's at my house. Weather-wise, though, here at the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center, it's currently 37 degrees. Your high should be 38. Tonight, your low will be 33. It's cloudy all day. So not only are you going to be driving around with all these other maniacs, you got to drive in cloudy conditions. I already went with the bit. There should never be a black face any day. So yes, it is Black Friday. It's not Blackface Friday. Justin Trudeau. No, he only does that on Halloween. In the news, Mikey Bloomberg, billionaire, formerly known for being with one party affiliated, is now running as a member of the other party because we didn't just hear this story 4 years ago. From New York, a billionaire businessman slash political-ish guy. He actually was the mayor of New York for 3 years. 3 terms. 2 terms as a Republican, and is now running as a Democratic presidential nominee because that's brand new. No one's done that in the history of time, being affiliated with one party for the majority of their life and then running as a member of the other party. Definitely didn't happen just 4 years ago. Okay, and then lastly, the live read. Got to do the live read. And that's for our Patreon.com page. Head on over to Patreon.com. Go to the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. It's how you can help support quality programming like the Warren Brothers Sports Show, the Sunday Super Show, Sausage Fest Spectacular Show. Because you don't give us money, we haven't been able to do another episode of The Calm in the Store. Yeah, sure, I'll put that on you instead of it being my own fault. Apathetic Afternoon Show, we haven't even got it off the ground yet because you won't help a brother out, which is what I am, a Warren brother. We also have other shows. We want to do a cooking show. That's still in the earliest of developments. The Craptastic Shorts Show, which Paul and I, now that he's back in town, if you missed him yesterday, he's back. He's not here today, though, because that's the kind of thing that Paul does. Whenever we get to do a man versus dude, it's tough to do stuff without Paul. He's half the driving force behind the Warren Brothers Sports Programming Broadcasting Network. And for you to help out, you give us your $4 a month there at the Patreon.com, Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. You can follow my occasional Patreon-only blog, and when you contribute, give us money, you become a producer. You're a producer. It's that simple. And you can tell us what you want to hear. You want Paul to be gone forever? He's gone forever. Forget it. That's we'll kill him off. Not in real life. I won't murder my own brother. But you can help us brothers out. You're just $4 a month, whatever it is. I got to double check. I haven't been on the Patreon thing in like 3 days. I know. That's on me. But why bother look at nothing? You spend more daily on stupid crap. Patreon.com, Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. Let's get into football. Talk football. Ohio State football. Ohio State Buckeyes are heading up north. Up north to face that team up north. Known as the Wolverines. Because there's a lot of Wolverines in Michigan, I guess. Is that a thing? I mean, at least Buckeyes, we have those. There's the trees, and they drop the Buckeyes, and we make a chocolate candy. It's got peanut butter in it. Call those Buckeyes because we make them look like the Buckeyes. And, well, anyway, your Ohio State Buckeyes are 11-0 this season. Not a single loss. I think they're only one of 3 undefeated teams in all of college football. Like, the whole thing. What's still stupid? And you're right. Paul's like half-ish. Like, somewhere between a quarter and a third. But more than a third. Maybe not. No. Something. 40-60 split. I do the heavy lifting. But only because he's gained weight. So, your Ohio State Buckeyes, and they're 8-0 in the Big Ten. Because, of course, they've won every game. So, I saw we're ranked 2 going into this. There was some other consensus. It's the coaches poll that I think has us. We leapfrogged LSU to go to 1, and LSU's 2 in the coaches or the AP poll. There's too many polls. But at least, like, they do more work in college football than they do in politics. Because at least, you've got LSU's 1, Ohio State's 2, there's your college playoff rankings. And you have each poll, and coaches have their opinions, and the press have their opinions. And then you have the actual, 12 people. Condoleezza Rice is one of them. She still have that job, I think. And they come up with the playoff structure and who the 4 best college football teams are. And they usually get it pretty close to nail right on top of that. And problem with it, though, is then in politics is you get 4 super liberals going to Ohio Wesleyan Northern super liberal college and asking, hey, do you think Donald Trump's Hitler? And then 95% say, yeah, Donald Trump's Hitler. And it's kind of a bias there. Because then you go and you do the same poll, and it's at a gun show in Alabama, and it's do you think Donald Trump's the greatest president ever? And it's 95%. And it's Donald Trump's the greatest president ever. So at least there's some facts used in polling for college football, whereas in political polling, a whole lot more subjective reasoning and different pools in which the data is taken from. I made fun of both sides. So that team up north on the card, I literally just wrote it as them. They are 9-2 this season. Could be 8-3. Could be worse even. They did not look good early on these last 4 weeks. They have played very well. But however, key component for them, they are 6-2 in the Big Ten. I think regardless, Ohio State will be played in the Big Ten championship game, and they will be playing Minnesota because Minnesota, did they finally lose a game? I'm not sure. Well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself because tomorrow's the big game on the Big Ten, in the Big Ten. On their net, well, it's not necessarily on their network because they're playing it on one of the 3 TV stations that Disney owns. And with the way it's at noon. I hate that. That's too early. I can't go out watch the Ohio State Michigan game. Even 3:30 is borderline. So at least you eat some wings and you'll watch the game. Go out at noon on a Saturday. And the rest of your day's done. Not going to happen. I'm not doing it. So watch the game at home. Nieces are coming over. Write out more lists about how terrible her uncles are. Probably falling even further down that list. Just looking at season stats. Season stats, thing I do, compare and contrast. I didn't watch the preview on it. They make previews so you can just watch them. That's where I got most of my Browns Steelers stuff when I get into that later. I threw up in my mouth a little. That's gross. Ew. So, in regards to Ohio State and that team that they're playing in their blue and yellow, average scoring, Ohio State averages 49 points a game. It's 7 touchdowns, folks. Whereas that other team, they average 33 points a game. I'm not saying that's going to be indicative of the final. However, last year we did shellac these fellas 62-39. Many of the games in recent years have been close, with Ohio State 9-1 or 8-1 in this last decade thus far, 2010 through 2018. I don't know. As I just, again, glanced at it, those Wolverines fellas won a game in 2011 by a field goal. Michigan fan will sound a lot like Browns fan and be like, oh, a couple of those blown calls, blip, blip, blip. The 1 or 2 or 5 things go slightly different in that game. We win it, man. But passing wise, I mean, Ohio State passed for about 248 yards a game. And it's because we're built on the run. It's obvious. And that other team, they passed for 247 a game. So, very, very comparable passing the ball. But here's where rushing, and I've said this probably every single game that I've talked about Ohio State football, is that team up north, they run for about 155 yards per game. The Ohio State Buckeyes run for 282 yards a game. And that's between Dobbins and Fields and Master Teague. I can't go on enough about how much I like that dude's name because it sounds like I'm saying Mr. T. I pity the fool who tries to tackle Master Teague. I pity the fool. Drink your eggs. Eat your milk. Teach children. Well, that one's actually right, though. That team we're playing against, they're coming off of a 39-14 victory over Indiana. These last 4 weeks, that other team, they've been blowing teams out. They beat Michigan State handily recently. Harbaugh and his khakis and his commercials about his khakis and the aura around his khakis and drinking big damn glasses of milk with a steak. Oh, like there's something so wrong about that. And like, is it because you're drinking the stuff from the female of that animal while you eat the male of that animal? Is that why? Maybe that's why that bothers me. In the losses in the close one, week 2 and week 3 were when these fierce what's the name of that? We just call them the Logans. What was the name of the actor who played Wolverine? Huge Jackmans. So these Jack guys, these Jacks, the Michigan huge Jackmans. Week 2, they narrowly defeated Army 24-21 in overtime. Week 3, got a big old stinking L against Wisconsin. Lost that one 35-14. And their last loss was just over a month ago against the Penn State Nittany Lions, 28-21. That's what knocked Michigan out of top-tier type rankings, bumped Penn State into the playoff discussion, actually. At the one point there, Penn State was your 4 seed, and Ohio State was your 1. But they had to change all that up once we played Penn State, and Alabama lost to LSU 46-41 or whatever it was. Ohio State defeated Rutgers that weekend 73-21 or 14 or whatever it was, and somehow we fell in the rankings that week because I guess it was Rutgers or Maryland, whatever, same program. So this team up north, and the thing that they're going to have problems with, obviously, is going to be stopping our run game. It's what Ohio State's bread and butter is. J.K. Dobbins. He has run the ball 219 times this year for 1,446 yards. It's amazing. The guy usually only plays the first half of games. He's run rough shot all over you. That's when we put in Master Teague, who's actually pretty damn good too. Major Teague, Mr. Teague, whatever it is. And so Dobbins, I mean, just think in 11 games, which roughly should be about 7, because he plays mostly just first halves. That's 5.5. And like the 3 other games where he had to play a little bit longer because the other team wasn't just crushed by 7 touchdowns. We didn't win by 50. So what you get with Dobbins, it's a fierce rusher. Just run the ball in the end zone 15 times for you on top of it, too. So there's that. And then, of course, on the defensive end, Chase Young, 14.5 sacks this year. That's even with missing 2 games. That's part of the reason why they made him miss 2 games, slow the momentum down. And a third fella that, and these first 2 guys I've named, probably in the discussions for Heisman Trophy, and they both wear the number 2. The guy wearing number 1 and playing quarterback for you at the Ohio State University, Justin Fields. I may have called him Josh a few times. I'm not good with names when I write them down. Sometimes I just write down the last name and figure, I'll remember the first one. And then I don't. And then I'm a jerk for doing so. But Justin Fields. And I only have his passing stats the 2,352 passing yards. This is not bad for roughly playing 7 games, basically. A lot of first halves, very few second halves. But 33 touchdown passes and 1 interception. Guy's throwing at least 3 touchdown passes a game. Technically. Because it's 11-ish games. It's actually 11, but he's only played like the first half. Like 7 of them. And then, crazy. 1 interception. 1 time. Someone from the other team has ripped him off. I love that stat. You could never do that in the pro game. I mean, virtually never. The guy throw the ball as much as Fields does. To have 33 touchdown passes and 1 interception. It's a good ratio. Horatio. I barely knew you. I want to remind everybody that this is WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. The views and opinions of this program don't express those of ownership, seeing as ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. I mean, you could just ask my sister, or my nieces, or my dad, or my brother. As the owner, I am very much against nepotism. Should probably do the ad for my niece's YouTube program. That would have been the perfect time. So real quick, a little breakdown about hockey because I know you're all just waiting, chomping at the bit. Tonight, the Blue Jackets will face the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the only real mildly relevant reason why I bring up the game at all. Simply because it's Pittsburgh. We're an Ohio team. We're in Pittsburgh. And I hope there's people wearing Myles Garrett jerseys there. Like they've already shown up in Pittsburgh. It's a long holiday weekend. They left Cleveland. They're going to the Browns game on Sunday in Pittsburgh. And they're doing a trial run. They're like, yeah, let's see what happens if we go to a hockey game here in Pittsburgh, dressed in our Browns gear. And then there's a murder. Because unfortunately, that's for all the flack that they give us Browns fans, and we're I guess according to Steeler Nation, we're idiots and all this stuff and all these things. We're far more subdued than what the average Pittsburgh Steelers fan comes across as in what I've seen in my life. The Penguins sitting at 14-7-4. They have 32 points. Columbus Blue Jackets 10-10-4, 24 points. So, I mean, give it what you will. It's still early in this hockey season. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's a third of the way through. Already like a third of the way through the hockey season. There's a big chunk of the teams that are all just right there within points of one another. The Blue Jackets are technically like 3 spots or 4 spots behind the Penguins, but their points are mere. It's always really close in hockey. It's why I've never been a big hockey fan. Hockey's worse than the NBA for that. Kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I've grown to dislike basketball to an extent. I can't keep track of who's on what team. I keep forgetting Westbrook's playing in Houston. Just stuff like that. But as for right now, here in this moment in time, I'm going to give you a traffic and weather update. Hey, be safe out there on the roads. It is African American Friday. So all sorts of crazy white people looking for great deals at the shopping malls and the stores and what have you. Except not the grocery stores. Well, I'll be quiet. You'd hear a pin drop in the grocery stores. And you know why? It's because, you should have plenty of leftovers still. The sad thing. So my brother and I stopped at a particular Big Bird grocery store. And we got to buy beer and wine, for where we're going. And got in line. guy in the line ahead of us. He's buying like a frozen pizza, and like the little one, not even like a good one, like the little dollar one, you know. And he's got a bunch of snack foods, and he doesn't look like some loser, poor slob or something, you know. He looks like he should know people, somebody to go eat without a Thanksgiving. Maybe he's just anti-Thanksgiving. He's just got a big pole in his house, and he celebrates. That just sounds like a stripper. But, you know, that other thing. What's that one from Seinfeld? This is like the second or third time. I'm looking over to no one. Maybe you got it. Festivus. The guy just celebrates Festivus all year round. Every holiday. As fireworks, forget that. I celebrate Festivus, and that's all. So anyway, weather-wise, currently 37 degrees. Today's high will only reach 38. Tonight it will be 33 and cloudy all day. I mean, literally, I should just call it Cloudy Friday or Bad Friday instead of Black Friday. Poor African American race gets this awful day added to their microcosm. None of those are the right words. Play another song so I can tell you the news, give you a commercial, and then be right on back with content. That's what they call it, because that's what it is. So, hey, in the news, just want to remind everybody that billionaire Mikey Bloomberg is now running for president of the United States. We all remember him about 20 years ago as being a Republican who is now a Democrat, which is amazing because I don't think that's ever happened where a New York billionaire who was associated with one party like 20 years before they ran for president then runs for president with the other party. Never heard of that before. Brand stinking new. Novel concept. When those two run for president against each other, like in the next 6 months when they give Bloomberg the nom, and he's going up against Trump, is that basically just like masturbation? Like, really?
Godzilla versus Megatron.
Yeah, it's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. It'll be like looking in mirrors. I don't know if Bloomberg's quite as tan, though. Orange Man versus slightly less orange man. So dumb. The only people... See, because at least Bloomberg, like, was the mayor and a politician. But what is he best known for? Telling you how large a beverage you can have. It's like the only thing you hear from New Yorkers. He said that you can't buy sodas over 32 ounces anymore. All across the spectrum, whether they were conservative or liberal. They're all just mad about the size of their cups. Hey, that sounds about right. So, commercial for you. Want to remind everybody with this live read here that you should go, since you're here on the YouTube already, into the search bar and type in Get Out and Play with Melody. You know, that same niece that thinks I'm less important than a house to live in and money and food, which actually, you know, all right, outside of the money. You know, money's not important. But my niece, Melody Bacha, has an entertaining YouTube channel right here. You know, it's the YouTube where you're watching it now. It's called Get Out and Play with Melody. If you yourself, talking about you have kids, nephews, nieces, maybe you're just babysitting, maybe you've kidnapped a bunch of them, I don't know, there's something for them to watch. Go on over to YouTube. I shouldn't say go on over to because you're already here. Find Get Out and Play with Melody. Sit back and enjoy. Even though it is kid-friendly, because it is. The last one that she updated is her sister singing a song, and really good camera work by Melody to follow her around the whole damn living room, the way she's running around. I mean, my little 8-year-old niece is a genius. She's bad at making lists, but that's only because I'm 13th on it. It almost sadden you if you went to school for filming, because like, I'm watching this film, and I don't think she edited it at all. Just cut, live, go. Good stuff. Camera angles, working it. Here on the YouTube, Get Out and Play with Melody. Like, subscribe, share. Click that bell for notifications. Found my one buddy's YouTube channel, Junior the Third. I gotta get him to do, as much as I like the entertainer con him into giving me a song put in there for it would be basketball because he's more rap oriented and hip hop. It's good stuff. Him and another buddy of mine, is a fella named Brandon Miller. I think that's right. Anyway, I forget a bunch of Brandon's handles. I'd promote them both, but convince them both to do songs because juniors are very Oberlin centric and basketball centric because he actually like raps about basketball. The one song's called Allen Iverson, I think. So I mean that would work. I mean, hip hop's influenced in numerous sports, and it just sounds racist to say it's a basketball thing. It's at the same time, all the bougie people sitting in those first few rows, they're not listening to rap music. They're listening to classical music. I mean, what's the Norm Macdonald joke? I won't tell it because it has to do with two guys who bought the Milwaukee Bucks for $550 million. It's the only way you can legally own black people. And it's Black Friday, and we're celebrating, by going out and shopping. They call it Black Friday month. Actually, what it gets called now in all the commercials. It was a day. Then you had like Cyber Monday. You could buy stuff on Monday. You had Small Business Saturday. You could buy some stuff that the store's open like for 58 hours in a row or 78 hours in a row on Wednesday afternoon and just stay open the whole time so you can do all your shopping. Maybe take a break in there for a nap and some turkey. And then go shopping some more. Like people will work 362 days of the year to go shopping for 3 days and fight each other and murder each other in stores. As I saw some crazed little old lady swinging around a football helmet to fight through crowds because she figured that'd be a good idea. She saw it work in an NFL game. So now she figures, I like my University of Texas head coach, had a failed suicide attempt joke. I don't care. That's a good one. He headbutts this guy on his team 3 times, and the guy's wearing a helmet, and he's the coach, so he's not wearing one. So if one guy swings a helmet at another guy, and that's assault with a deadly weapon, then it's got to be that this other guy was attempting to commit suicide. Bam, bam, bam. Kent State basketball tomorrow afternoon, 4:00. Is it 4? Oh no, so Stetson. I have no idea where Stetson University is. I tried to look it up. I think it's just named after a rodeo or a cologne of some sort. Jack Palance used to wear it. Or Brute. Stetson. It's an aftershave or a cologne or something. So they made a whole college based on this cologne. They're 4-4 though, so it's not like they're bad. They probably smell real nice even. In fact, they just defeated Florida College 72-60 the other day. And of course, the fact that like a place is called Florida College, like we're a state and here's a college. We'll play the guys who were a Cologne in their college. I didn't know there were so many damn schools out there. And in college basketball, there sure as hell is. Here's some of these names. Davidson. That's just some guy's name. Harley just opened a school? That's where that Stephanie Curry went to. So anyway, Kent State suffered their first loss Monday. They were playing 10th ranked Ohio State. But they'll be playing Stetson tomorrow, 4:00. It's not like you don't already have enough sports to watch. But Kalen Bennett, I'm hoping he sees some playing time. Stetson looks like a beatable team, one that you'll get up on by like 20 or something. And that's when, as a freshman playing college basketball, Bennett, the most minutes he's had in a game is 9. That was in a blowout victory. And he actually scored 2 points against the Ohio State Buckeyes. I didn't get to see the clip of it because it wasn't up there. But he had a board and 2 points in 1 minute of play. That's when they finally put in the rest of the guys. And sticking with basketball, your Cleveland Cavaliers. My goodness. Losers of 8 of their last 9. At least they're playing at home. So we'll watch them lose at home tonight when the Milwaukee Bucks come into town. Man, it's going to be rough. The best team in basketball, the 15-3 Milwaukee Bucks, very well may have one of the best players in basketball, affectionately known as the Greek Freak by anyone who can't pronounce a name that has 19 letters in it, and 14 of them are consonants. Now, that doesn't sound right. It's Greek. It's all Greek to me anyway. But he's the fella, quite possibly the best player in all the NBA. And he's leading the Milwaukee Bucks. I didn't even bother to write the other. Chris McDermott. What is his name? And some other fella's been playing well for him too. Bucks just all in all are a good team. They've won 9 straight games. To put that into perspective, that means they were 6-3 at one point. So a little shaky beginning there for them. But that other kid was hurt. So you got the Cavs, who in their last 9 games have won one of them, and they're facing the Bucks, who in their last 9 games haven't lost a single one of them. So, what to kind of look forward to, at least player wise, especially if the one schmuck plays. That's what's driving me nuts with this season. Once we reached about the 11 games in, I personally am a big Larry Nance Jr. fan. I would like to see him play as much as possible. But so far as starting, I don't think he should be starting. Guys, look out for Colin Sexton, guys leading your team in points per game. He's got 18 as a starter, basically shooting guard. Interesting experiment. He is a 2 guard, like a ball handling shooting guard. It's that simple, and it works. But in respects to how many shots he hoists up, it's a little heavy. You don't have a guy on this team who's averaging 20 plus points a game, and you need that guy. And you need to be Kelly Clarkson coming off the bench, or Colin Sexton as your starting shooting guard. And neither one of those guys are there. I think you'd be better served having Clarkson starting, but that Porter hasn't developed enough. He's only played 15 games, 18 games. And technically, he had one less because he got suspended for a game because he accidentally bumped into a ref. That whole thing. I'm not going to get back into that. But anyway, Colin Sexton is a guy he needs to develop. Hitting his shot a little more consistently, but honestly, he's not much worse than some of the biggest scorers in the NBA. And then on top of that, too, Garland's giving you 10 points a night, only 3 assists. That's all he's averaging. He's almost averaging that many turnovers. I see that bumped up to about 5 or 6 assists a game. You need your point guard distributing the ball a little bit better. I had seen some nights where he was getting 6 or 7 assists, but if you're averaging only 3, that's telling me you're not consistently passing the ball around, and I think that's a failure we've had in a lot of these losses. These guys aren't hitting their second, third, fourth man. You got to have those additional passes. It's how basketball works when it works well. Can't be Harden scoring 38 points a night. You realize that? I don't know. You probably got to go back to the late 70s when it was like just Dr. J was the only guy on his team averaging some like 40 points almost a night. No, he only ever averaged 26 or something. One of the scoring leaders. Was that one of Jordan's earlier years? Like he won with 36 points a night or something ridiculous. That's too much. You got to have other guys. Although it's not even that Houston doesn't have other guys. They're scoring like 110 a night. And they're giving up 112 a night. Depends on the night. Lastly, with the Cleveland Cavaliers and all this, and it's the Kevin Love thing, and it's what is aggravating me with it. It's so the dude, he's not a star. He's not the man. But on this team, he's your leadership presence. He and Tristan both need to be playing damn near every night. They're your starters. They're what this team is built around as the young kids get better. And every single article is some sort of Kevin Love trade speculation. Not that Portland would want them now because there's no reason for it, because they don't look like they're going to be a playoff team this year. The Lakers, the Clippers. I mean, California makes sense because it's where Kevin Love is from. He played at UCLA. There's no reason to trade him to Golden State because Golden State's hot garbage. So what, the Lakers or the Clippers? I think those are both actually teams with good records. I know the Lakers are. The Lakers have been phenomenal this year. They lost opening night and maybe only lost once since. I haven't gotten as big into basketball as I do some years, but I'm following the Cavs to some extent. I'm almost more intrigued with Kent State basketball, to be honest with you. Wish I could find a radio station that plays their games. So I guess my last point with the Kevin Love thing is he's your big money guy. He's your leader. It's him and Thompson's team. And he's not playing every night. And Thompson's numbers are all right. And Love's are 17 and 11. He's another guy. We could just have two dudes on this team score about 20 points a game. I'd feel a little better about that. That was a problem that we had. All these teams, they get their big threes together, and one gets 30, one gets 25, one gets 15, or it's 30, 20, 15, depending on the splits. And there's your 65 or so points. It's almost, 70 even. That's more than 2/3 of your offense, because most teams average between 100 and 110 points. And, the rest gets filled out by role players. That one really good player off your bench will get you 10 to 12, or another starter will get you 10 to 12. And there you go. Hey, you're winning ball games. Cavs aren't there. Cavs aren't doing it. Cavs have Love, Clarkson, and Sexton will get you some points, but that's not even coming up to 60. He's getting you like 50 plus. Those three guys. And you need to find filler elsewhere. Nance, Thompson. These aren't guys known for their offense. Nance put up 20 the one night. You need consistency on this basketball team. And I think they're all still trying to figure out their roles. But season's going to start slipping away from you. You're already at 5-13 because you didn't close out and you got annihilated in other games. And thus far this season, even that loss that you had the other night when you played, the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets. Go and get Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, knowing Durant's out all season with an injury. And then Irving, constantly in pain. Or now it's a shoulder thing or a crazy thing. It's always crazy. Makes Delonte West look sane. Jump on his motorcycle with hot sauce and a shotgun. I'm waiting for Kyrie Irving to do that. And dudes, just teams like 5-1 without Kyrie, whatever it is. Let's do traffic, weather, news, and a commercial, because I get the feeling what's his face is going to call in shortly. That's what we had talked about yesterday when we did part of our bit, the deep dive into the spread. But right now, I want to let y'all know that here at the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center, be safe driving out there on this Black Friday, cloudy Friday, African American Friday. It's 2019. Can't call it Black Friday anymore, guys. Black Friday month. It's an actual thing. Been driving in it every day. Don't fly through the damn parking lots. Ugh. Well, let's go on all day. Like, I gotta go pick Paul up from somewhere at 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't want him to be going on. It's currently 37 degrees outside. We're gonna reach a high tonight of 38. 1 whole degree higher, but the low is only going to be 33. So just keep it that steady. Like, that fluctuation is the smallest temperature fluctuation in Cleveland, I think, probably ever. That is cloudy all day. It's just cloudy. I think there's a chance of meatballs, but that's a dumb joke. In the news, so you've seen this commercial. He's going by Mikey Bloomberg now. Vote for him in 2020. Former Republican, was the mayor of New York City for a couple terms, then ran as an independent and won a third term. And then who knows what happened to him after that. But he's been a billionaire this whole time. Plenty of money in that Bloomberg family. A New Yorker. And now he's running as a Democrat. I bet you he gets the Democratic nomination. Because unlike all the other guys running, they're literally doing a sequel to the Republican Party in 2015, 2016. It's all it is. But it's not even a sequel. It's a remake with a different cast. We got the crazy one, and we got the ugly one, and we got the chubby one, and we got this guy who's the brother of the guy who was president at one point. All sorts of wacky shenanigans in the new retelling of the 2016 Republican presidential election. This year we're calling it the 2020 Democratic presidential election. I mean, it's all just it's bad theater and bad art. That's all any of it is. So that's my crappy little news story. And lastly, just want to tell everybody here that if you need some painting done, the guy that you got to get a hold of is Dave Hughes. He owns a painting company called This Guy's Painting. You can call him at 440-715-3282. That phone number is 440-715-3282. Or message This Guy's Painting on the Facebook. This Guy's Painting is a small local painting company. They will do interior and exterior work at reasonable prices, and they are insured. Mention you heard it here from Mark Warren and receive a free estimate. Expect a quality job done by This Guy's Painting, owned and operated by Dave Hughes. You can reach him at 440-715-3282. That phone number being 440-715-3282. Or on the Facebook at This Guy's Painting. Don't forget, you receive a free estimate if you mention Warren Brothers Sports Show, Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, Paul Warren, Mark Warren, Elizabeth Warren. She's one of those ones that, you know, they're all basically running for a VP nod at this point. Pretty much it. Buttigieg might be the guy who gets it too. Because if you go with Bloomberg, you got to figure you need somebody who's the far side over, but who can play it well. Like Pence is like, he appeared slightly further right than Trump, but he's actually just more a regular conservative guy than Trump. Trump's a fiscal conservative. It's that simple. I mean, as a businessman, that's what you would expect from him. Bloomberg is a fiscally conservative Democrat. So, I mean, you're literally going to watch when these guys, you know, when Bloomberg gets the nomination and Trump gets through the impeachment hearings. It's the same guy running against himself. It's not rocket science. They have full 24-hour networks dedicated to such things, is what I just said in a sentence. But I'm not smart enough to know anything, though. Cleveland Browns. Here it is. We're starting hour 2. Oh, it's such good stuff. I got to smoke an organic e-cigarette. Brought to you by the Llama Organic E-Cigarette Company. So there's this constant take. Always. This is just all the time. Oh, it's the biggest game the Browns have played since they've come back. Every year you hear it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year probably. Oh, it's coming up. The biggest game the Browns have ever played. as a franchise since 1999. Now, most of the young idiots, they just say ever because they don't even remember the fact that the Browns were a team before 1999. They were a different team. It was a better team. It was fun stuff. I enjoyed those days. Oh, and now this stuff. Oh, this crap now. Holy crap. This crap. And almost every single time there's one of those biggest games as a franchise, even though it's happened like 60 times now. So that makes it lose its significance every single time we say it. I'd say we're probably like 0-59 in those games. I don't think we've won a single one of those. This is the biggest game. The biggest. Any big game scenario. So we're going to go into Pittsburgh and we're just going to crap the bed and lose 24-7. Some defensive end for them is going to bonk Baker Mayfield on his head with a helmet. It's all just going to be silly and stupid. Browns fans are going to show up in Myles Garrett jerseys and get into fights. They'll have to evacuate the stadium. Might have to cancel the game. It's going to be dumb. It's going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to an NFL game. Steelers fans will start throwing bottles on the field because of a bad call. Hope this game isn't close and it comes down to the last 2 minutes. That would be terrible. That would just be awful. Better hope that one of these teams just beats the ever-loving crap out of the other. And not physically, with quarterbacks punching at balls and defensive ends bonking guys on helmets. No, none of that would be good. No physical altercations. I do have this feeling in the pit of my gut there's going to be one of those, like, before the game, yelling back and forth at one another's. I bet you Mike Tomlin's involved in it. Freddie Kitchens, he's still just going to be eating.
I think they're going to come out and they're going to whip each other with their cotton candy. What do they call those things now?
Did you know cotton candy used to be called fairy floss?
They're going to beat each other up with fairy floss.
It's going to be all the same stuff that this last 2 weeks has been. It's self-genuflecting. Oh, poor us. Oh, poor them. Oh, we're all sorry to one another. Oh, we benched Mason Rudolph because he's a bad quarterback and because he probably did say the N-word. And because like the stuff that always gets to me in the entire discussion of it, there's two key points. Is the why didn't Myles Garrett say something sooner? Which he actually did imply, at least, and he just didn't know how much he was allowed to say since it had just happened. And trust me, every time lawyers get involved, it doesn't end well for anyone. 2 years probation. And so then on top of it, too, is you have how come no one else heard anything? I mean, the close proximity in which those two guys are, fairly certain, even with how sound travels, Dad and I can barely hear each other, and we're just, 5 feet away from each other. I got these mics tuned all the way up, and he comes through when we watch it, and you can hear it later. That's why the audio is so important. But at the same time, when you're having a conversation with somebody, it's not like all of a sudden magically these offensive linemen who aren't paying attention to the skirmish on the ground at that particular moment are going to hear, "Get off me, you effing N." But anyway, I digress. And everybody has to know everything all the time. I don't need to know. I trust Myles Garrett enough. I look at the character of the two men. I figure he's not one to lie about such a thing. And I'm past all of that. We're on to an actual game. Football. They're going to play a game against one another. And man, is it going to be terrible. Now, first, I want to have a slight caveat here, an NFL thing. The Bills are going to be one of your two wildcard teams, unless they crap the bed completely and they lose 4 straight. The Buffalo Bills just beat the Cowboys yesterday on Turkey Day. and I can't see them losing out versus Baltimore. That's a game in Buffalo, in Pittsburgh, in New England, and at home against the New York Jets. Now, I have them at best finishing at 10-6 then, because, 3 of those I do have as losses. But I don't know. Maybe this Bills team actually could beat Baltimore. The more I watch Baltimore play, though, what the hell did Baltimore just do? They beat the Rams 45-6. Ugh. I hate football. It's so dumb. The things that are supposed to happen don't happen. Hey, you know what could happen, though? Delvin Hodges. My goodness. The third different quarterback. Paxton Lynch is on the Steelers squad. They didn't go to him. That guy started games in Denver. That guy's still around. Their quarterback depth chart currently reads Delvin Hodges, Paxton Lynch, Ben Roethlisberger, and Mason Rudolph. That's right. They'll play Ben Roethlisberger, who isn't even going to dress because he's injured for the rest of the season on IR, before Mason Rudolph, because he didn't say the N-word. No, there's more to it than that. He started the fight. It's great. The Mike Tomlin line, and flat out says, Devlin or Delvin? Ducky? Duck Hodges won't get us killed. Like, he flat out said Mason Rudolph would get us killed if he was still their starter. If he goes back to being a starter after this game, then you'll know it's a bunch of other stuff. But I almost don't even expect Rudolph to dress, that they'll have Paxton Lynch as a second-string quarterback. But in Cincinnati, where the Steelers played a tightly contested one with the 0 for the season, 0-11 now is what that makes them, Cincinnati Bengals. Hodges went 5 for 11 with 118 yards and a touchdown. Don't expect the Steelers to win this ball game if they have to pass the ball a lot. And they're in a position where they may have to pass the ball a lot. In Week 11, against the Browns, because they fell behind, they ran the ball 16 times and passed it 44 times. 44 passes to 16 rushes. That's a 73% pass to run split, 73-27. Your ground beef has less fat in it than the Steelers run the ball, right? Whatever my analogy was, you follow. So in Week 12, this is what happened last week. Sammy Snell, Barney Snell, Benny, that's what it is. Can't read my own damn writing. Benny Snell ran the ball 21 times for 98 yards. And as it stands right now, see, it's for as good as the Steelers' defense is, and the statistics show this, their offense is worse than their defense. But it shows that you win in this league by playing defense. Otherwise, they wouldn't be 6-5. With the Steelers, their rush defense is 5th in the league, and they actually stopped Nick Chubb's for the most part. Nick Chubb had less than 5 yards a carry. Well, actually, I think it was 3 yards a carry just 2 weeks ago. And and this is another fun thing about how sport is. 1 yard. 1 yard is the difference, because the Steelers give up 3.8 yards a game and are the 5th ranked rush defense. The Browns give up 4.8 yards per carry. I'm sorry, Steelers are 3.8 yards per carry. The Browns are 4.8 yards per carry, and they are the 28th ranked rush defense. Top 5, bottom 5. Difference is 1 yard per carry. That's all it is. It's math. These people freak out. It's the equivalent to the runs per game thing in baseball, and how they don't understand how these teams can have comparable records in baseball. Because, hey, check it out. They have comparable records in football, 6-5, 5-6. And a run is the difference. A yard is the difference. The only difference. You could have 5.5 runs per game in Major League Baseball. The Indians have 4.5 runs per game. Oh, this Indians lineup. Oh, they're terrible. They don't score enough. They have one less run a game. Oh, this Browns defense, they can't stop the run. Well, we run all over other teams and we stop the pass. And when the other team's passing the ball 3 out of every 4 plays, I don't know. I'm tired of having to explain the same things over and over and over and over and over again to people. Did you not get it? Because we only score 4.5 runs a game, but we only give up 4 a game. Just as the Browns run for 5.5 runs per carry. Anyway, we'll know more Sunday. Be careful of Benny Snell. Make sure you shut him down. I don't know what's going on with James Conner. And this Hodges fella, he's only thrown for 318 yards in 3 games played. He had to start one against the Chargers because Mason Rudolph left the game with a concussion. Hodges came in, finished up a loss to the Ravens, and then started that game against the Chargers. But over the course of the entire season, he has thrown for 318 yards, 1 interception, 2 touchdown passes. Let's keep that at a 2 touchdown pass thing and make him throw 3 more picks. I'd feel pretty good about that. That's an interesting thing with all this stuff about the Steelers and how good their offense is. I'm sorry, how good their defense is and how mediocre at best their offense is. This Steelers team, even interceptions-wise, their quarterbacks have thrown 12 interceptions on the season. And they have intercepted the ball on defense 14 times themselves. They will force you to fumble. That is the thing. As Browns players, Nick Chubb, protect that damn ball. K. Hunt, protect that damn ball. Old BJ, you better have both hands secured tightly around the ball. Laundry and Njoku, if you bother to come back and play. Everybody. Baker, don't go fumbling the ball or tossing it in the air for no good reason, like it's some smelly baby. Whatever it is that you do. He looks like he's playing catch with a baby. The guy's going to get it. Hey, he's done that 3 times this year. He makes it look like the Brandon Weeden flip pass, double pass thing. Brandon Weeden did both. Hated that when I had season tickets. It was Brandon Weeden was my quarterback. Ugh. Who was it that we forced out then? When the other guy was slightly better? So it was like Colt McCoy on top of it, too. It wasn't even like it was somebody great. That's the screwy part of it. Not even like Hoyer was great, but when we forced him out, it was because of Johnny Manziel. Oh, why are we always doing this? It's glad to see the Steelers doing it now. They had people debating, it should be Rudolph playing. It should be Hodges. Blah, blah, blah. And again, they both suck. We don't know which one sucks less. It's like trying to decide which Democrat you want to vote for or which Browns quarterback you'd rather have for 20 years there. That was about how long it was. Do we go with RG3? Or who the hell was even around then? It was Manziel still, wasn't it? DeShone Kizer. I can't keep it all straight. How many damn different quarterbacks did we have? It hit 30, didn't it? Wasn't Baker number 30? It's the only reason why I want him to be the only quarterback to start games for the next 10 years, maybe save for 1 or 2 guys because of, it's a football career. You're going to get hurt. Maybe he sits out a couple games because of concussion protocol. It seems like I've got a concussion myself. As you stutter on the word concussion. And just maybe Baker, it's a couple other guys start other games so we can get that number closer to the amount of years since we've been back with the number of quarterbacks we've had start games. Just a particular feeling I have. So, hey, anyway, gonna take a quick break here, and then on the other side of it, maybe we'll talk more football and Browns, and they got a big game coming up on Sunday, 1 o'clock. Because, the NFL changed the start time because some other game with two teams with similar uh, uh, it's for the Raiders Chiefs game. So they flip-flop the times. And actually, they should have just had it that way in the first place, because a 4 o'clock game in Pittsburgh doesn't make sense. Just like a Eastern Standard 1 o'clock time in Kansas City wouldn't make any damn sense, because that means they're starting that game at noon there in real life. So they flip-flop it later because, the NFL, that's a change they will make. Don't go ahead and make changes. Of course, they had to wait till the last minute because the initial schedule said it, and they stuck with what the initial schedule said for months until at the last minute coming up with another plan. So anyway, here we are at the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center. Just want to tell everybody to be safe, be careful out there. It is Black Friday. Even though many of you are most likely responsible drivers, there is no guarantee that there aren't a few people out there who are not so responsible. So please be careful when you are driving today. Also, because it's cloudy all day. Weather-wise, we're currently at 37 degrees. It's going to reach a high of 38 degrees. And then tonight's going to be a low of 33 degrees. Oh, a wild Cleveland weather swing. Like the least remarkable weather swing we've had here since maybe my infancy. Just cloudy all day. That's the only thing about it. The sun has not been out all day. Not that I've seen. So just cloudy all day. In the news, everyone knows by now that Mikey Bloomberg has joined the running in the fracas that is the Democratic nomination for president. An odd turn of events that he would join. He's a former he is a billionaire, a New York billionaire, formerly associated with the Republican Party, who is now running as a Democrat. So a New York billionaire known for his ties with one political party, now running with the other political party, because that's never been done before, ever. Except like 4 years ago when the guy who's our current president did it. I mean, it's just dumb. It's dumb at this point. This is where I tell you that I would like for you to like, subscribe, click on the notifications button, get updates, watch this program if you will. You help me out when you subscribe and when you let me know that you're interested in it, and I because I guess that's the stuff that helps. This is the song I like the most. Usually this is what we play when we head over to Paul's Random Thought, but Paul's not here, and man, he made up for not being here for a month, because he had about a month's worth of random thoughts yesterday, and we only did an hour-long show. He crammed in 40 random thoughts into an hour. It was a random thought a minute. It was amazing.
Boy, this is stupid.
What's stupid?
Donald Trump. This is a photo of himself with his head photoshopped on the Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I think it's like a retweet because somebody else did it. And I guess it's a big deal to watch Rocky movies around Thanksgiving. I didn't know this was a thing. Like, people have other things that they do. Like, okay, like yesterday, we watched The Wizard of Oz because that's their little tradition that they do at the house. Nikki and the girls, they watch The Wizard of Oz every Thanksgiving. And another thing that people watch is the Godfather trilogy. That was one that I saw one person say. It's his. Paul watches Planes, Trains, and Automobiles every Thanksgiving. There's certain Thanksgiving traditions that people have that coincide. Let's see, what was ours? I think day after Thanksgiving we would watch old movies, oftentimes the Marx Brothers. That resonates with me slightly more, because if you haven't noticed, I steal from Groucho a little. College widow. Now that's something I can get behind. So anyway, college widow is sending you bed without supper. Sometimes you just meet her in bed. One time, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I'll never know. Well, anyway, so I guess it's one to watch all the Rocky movies, and as time has gone on, and in the last, I don't know, 10 or so years, the guy's gone and bothered to make like 4 more Rocky movies. Like there's 2 Creed movies, one's called Rocky Balboa, and there's some other, I think there's something else in there. So there's like 9 Rocky related movies. And so since that's a thing, and somebody, it's really funny because I don't know if it's that people are this dumb or people just put in whatever conjecture they feel to with whatever comes across at whatever time. I don't know if they thought he was on Muhammad Ali's body, because all of a sudden all these people started going, "You're no Muhammad Ali." Yeah, you're right. He's not a Muslim. Blah, blah, blah. So then the back and forth became all sorts of stuff that it had nothing to do with it all. I don't know if it's like even kind of a mild like the more I see the Trump presidency, the more it seems like it's the greatest satirical comedy ever made. Like someone put this together like it's a pseudo joke on all the Putin stuff, where like there's all these paintings of Putin and he's riding a horse shirtless and he's saving children from burning villages shirtless. And like he's Putin and he's like built, and in real life he's probably like more like older Harvey Keitel, something like that, not young Harvey Keitel from Taxi Driver. I don't know where I'm going with all this, but so everything becomes, we're so deeply mired in the satire that life has become that we can't tell what, like the real news isn't real. But it's not like I'm about to go to TMZ. Who were we clamoring for to find the actual audio of Myles Garrett? TMZ, because they'll find it if it exists. You know who's got it? The people we dislike the most. Politics makes for strange bedfellows, and that's all I'll say about that. The Cleveland Browns played a game against the Steelers back in '86. Went to overtime. Brownies won it on a really nice Kosar to Slaughter pass in overtime. Just then game over. Sudden death overtime. It was the '80s. You can go find the video yourself. It's all over Twitter. You find it on the YouTubes. Just look up the Browns-Steelers game from then, or Kosar to Slaughter. It's when they have that iconic high five in the end zone when you could do celebrations before you couldn't do celebrations, but now you can do celebrations again. So all these like 20-year-old boys want to see or even 40-year-old boys. There's a bunch of you two. And we need you guys, Odell and Landry, to recreate this. I want to see Baker or one of the receivers recreate the play. The play is what's freaking awesome. Kosar pump fakes. He gets this Steelers defender jump 3 feet in the air, fly past them. And mind you, this is Kosar, who's really well known for his mobility. And he just chucks this pass down the sideline because Slaughter does this double move on a guy who tries to push him at the line and just flies past him. And it's a nice go route. Birdie just throws a 20-yard pass, hits him in stride. Slaughter runs the next 15 into the end zone. Great play. The play is great. Everybody's going on. You got a high five. Did you the high fives? Because I like high fivings. And there's some other one with Slaughter and Metcalf from '89, where they're like doing some rap song before a Browns-Lions Thanksgiving game. You guys should pre-record something like that. But they're always asking Landry and old BJ to do stuff together because it's their friends and all that stuff. That's not following. Instead of Metcalf, should be Chubb. But I digress. But the thing I like about the celebration is you get Bernie Kosar. He's throwing this pass and he sees that Slaughter's going to score. and he runs down the field like a jackass, like a certain other quarterback who's currently playing for us, who does the same thing anytime a big play happens. And so I like that. It's how I get it why Bernie likes Mayfield. It's that same youthful exuberance that Bernie had. It's just like with Bernie, he ran about 10 yards and was like, enough running for me. And Baker's got a little more energy than Bern. And just think Bernie was probably doing that, with additional youthful exuberance in his system. And he gets picked up by like some O lineman, is like Mike Babb or something. I think it was number 61. And then they celebrate the win. It's all really big and really cool. You got Marty Schottenheimer all dour looking, like, I should say something to Chuck. Chuck Knowles around somewhere, right? Chuck Knowles just run off the field. He's like, screw this. We lost. We're the Steelers. We're too good to lose. I like Chuck Noll. I will say this. I at least respect the guy, former Browns player. Stubborn as all get out. 1969, head coach of the Steelers. He gets him those Super Bowls because he's a damn fine head coach. The 80s almost like completely pass him by. Did I have a phone call? No, it's Paul texting me, I guess. I did not see a phone call at all. I guess Dave isn't going to call in today. And that's okay. We don't have to do the pick'em every week. That says yesterday he called me, and I answered that call. And I'm too stubborn to call anybody else. I'll just talk to myself for 4 hours. Although I do have one watching. I doubt it's Dave. So whomever's watching, don't be shy. Get in the live chat. Tell me what you want to talk about. Or maybe you just have this background to help me out. It sounds like something Nicole would do, the Warren sister. Or even intern Adrian, because intern Adrian's helped out a ton, and she's been good. Or even Epic maybe just still has it in the background. Where's that music coming from? Well, anyway, just in case it's something I'd have to pay for. Let's see here. Yeah, so I get Bernie liking Baker's youthful exuberance. And talent there. They're certainly not the same dude. Bernie's like 5. Mason Rudolph is built like Bernie. Mason Rudolph's not very smart. And Baker's not a genius himself either. You see that Baker has a tough time against teams that are better than he is. And he will beat teams that aren't as good as he is. Baker's got to get over that hurdle. If he doesn't do that in the next in season 3, 4, 5 of his career, then it's not going to be a long career for him. The Browns will look elsewhere. I can tell you already, and simply because I'm this jerk and that's what I do, I've looked at what next year's schedule should be. I feel good about it. I'm not going to get into that because we're still in this season. And we still have the biggest game since 1999 coming up on Sunday. Playing the damn Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll call it Three Rivers Stadium. I don't care what it's called now. PNC Bank, isn't that it? Go into Pittsburgh. I want that same feeling as the 99 opener. I think that's the reason why I'm mad that they changed the time. Because the 99 season opener, 89 season opener, 1989, and it was a 4:00 game. And I'm making a turkey breast. I'm doing it because it was a pseudo tradition that was started then. The Warren mom, us Warren brothers, our mother, the Warren sister too, because she would also be her mother as well. To my knowledge, because that part is all the same. Warren father should be the same for all three too. We don't doubt it, but anyway, so the three of us and our mother, she made us a turkey. Browns opening day, and here's a turkey, and it's fun, neat little thing, and she did it numerous times over the years. Random Browns games. I don't know if the Browns ever lost one of them. Should have just made turkeys all the time. If it's with that math. Well, we never would have moved because we would have won every game all the time, and that stadium would always be full, and there'd never be blackouts. And life would be completely different if we only ate turkey all the time, because that would have been cheap. Not at all. Just turkey, mashed potatoes, and of course the best kind of cranberry sauce, just right out of the can. Oh, it's very closely related to Jello. But I've heard no news stories about Bill Cosby and Jello shenanigans. I mean, as simple as it is, and I say it every week, you got Chubb, you got Hunt, you can run the ball. Even as good as this defense is against the run for the Steelers, you can still run it against them. Short passes. For as good as the Steelers' defense has appeared to be, their offense is only just slightly better. And that's all there is to it. I want to remind everybody that this is WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. The views and opinions of this program don't express those of ownership. Ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. You can ask myself, me, the owner of the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. You can just ask me. All of my friends and all of my family will tell you how against cronyism and nepotism I am. I don't feel like we should split these up a little better. Just do them every half an hour. I don't think that would work either. Especially because now I need your involvement. I don't know why Thursdays are the day that you folks watch the most. I need you on Wednesdays and Fridays too. Oh, you're all out shopping. That's probably why. Murdering each other in traffic on Black Friday. Just be careful out there. Love your fellow human beings enough to not run them down. In the weather, though, it is currently 37 degrees. We will reach a high of 38 degrees, which should happen any minute now. And then tonight, the low is only 33 degrees. All stays in that nice little 5-degree window because it's cloudy all day. It is literally nothing happening outside weather-wise. So all you jerks driving around causing all this traffic because you got to go buy some toy or some dumb thing. You can't wait another 2 weeks. Or like me, who's going to wait like another 3.5 weeks. Everybody gets gifts from the gas station because Uncle Mark's a crappy brother. I didn't know Natalie Imbruglia was still making music. Huh. Never heard of this CD before. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in a Christmas movie that was made in 2013 with Kirk Cameron? Weird. I don't think that's true, honestly. But you can find it at a gas station if it was ever made. In the news, Mikey Bloomberg, New York billionaire, formerly known for being associated with one of the two political parties, is now running for the nomination of President of the United States of the other political party. Huh. Sounds like a remake of a movie we saw 4 years ago where a billionaire New Yorker known for being part of one political party will now be running as the presidential candidate of the other political party. And then he won the damn thing, too. Should you imagine Mikey Bloomberg as your president? I don't know. If Giuliani hadn't been the other guy's lawyer, he would have stood a chance. You know what? Actually, they kept shooting him down. They liked McCain more. Did that go back to 2008? Was that Giuliani's big run? His big stab on it at it? It wasn't 2004. Yeah, it wasn't 2004. They were just going to keep W. I don't know, man. Let's get some poor schlub in there to be president of the United States. Joe the Plumber, whatever city that guy was in. Honestly, that guy sounded crazy. I sound crazy. Voting Dave Chappelle. Just get a black president everybody will like. No, actually, you know what's funny is now the more hardcore leftists don't like Dave Chappelle. And he's a liberal, and that's what's funny about it. The hardcore leftists don't like him because his jokes, hurt people's feelings or something. Let's see. Go back to this song to let you know that we're back. And what I did a bunch of there was Conjecture And then we'll do this last segment. Holy crap. I cut early on the other segment. I got to give you 25 more minutes. Should just start texting people, see if they'll watch so they can talk to me in the live chat. Now I'm down to 0 viewers. I hurt somebody's feelings because I said it'd be nice to have Dave Chappelle be our first black president. We've had one. But, you know, he was a really white guy. A really white black guy. It's Black Friday. You talk with conjecture like this. If I don't know. I watched this thing last night. I finally got around to watching the Marcellus Wiley, whoever the fake super conservative black dude, former football player is, played O-line in the league. I guess he's probably conservative, but he comes across as. He does a good job at acting if he isn't. So Marcellus Wiley did a real good job of shutting him down. It's almost impossible to shut down a guy who keeps talking over you. So Wiley's making his points, and the other dude just keeps talking. Eventually, Marcellus Wiley started interrupting the other guy, and I like a lot of Whitlock. It's Wiley and Whitlock. It's a different show. It's got some other name. Every dude. See, that's the thing about having some talent, but they spent way too long on this segment and just going back and forth. But Wiley and Whitlock are both relatively intelligent men. And I forget who the poor other young dude who was on there. And they were just both talking down to him just because he was younger than them. And yeah, all African American fellas. And it goes back to the Garrett incident. And right away, Whitlock's just going on, pulling the race card. Got to make some Jussie Smollett statement. And it's like, these are different things. And if you can't see, and then Wiley just crushed him with that. It's like, if you can't see how completely different these are. And it's why I think this is the strangest situation. And what's happened in a mildly political / sports thing and everything else involved is that it doesn't follow all the traditional lines and rules of everything else that's happened. We finally have a thing that's just this thing that doesn't follow party lines and all sorts of stuff. You have people who are conservatives backing the young black dude who retaliated against, the uppity white punk kid. And that's the person who's become the liberal darling. And it kind of just, or leftist and far right. Because conservatives and liberals, actually, there's similarities. There's some traditional real thing in the middle that we all actually are. It's like 60+% of us. But, we all can't just agree because, well, then we'd just be in bedlam. If we all actually just liked each other and were kind to one another, we can't have that. Anyway. So, Llama brand organic e-cigarettes. That's why I wear flannel and go out, chop some wood later. Man, so what did you get out of the end of this episode? My one viewer, as I finished saying that, you disappeared. Any viewers, anybody, what did you get out of the end of this show? Which still is a good 20 minutes away, but no Paul call. And Paul did text me, but he texted this phone, which he easily could have just called me at. And he's at this place where, he just told me when that. He reminded me to pick him up later, which is what I told him to do. So thank you, Paul. But you're texting the phone, the show number, the station phone number, and my actual personal cell phone, nothing. So anyway, that's Paul. Hopefully he didn't lose that phone number. I don't know. Put it all together. Blue Jackets playing 2 nights against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nothing really going on there. I have no hockey takes. Let's try to string together a few wins. Columbus. You did for a little while there. Keep it going. Kent State tomorrow afternoon at 4:00. Kind of a weird start time, in my opinion. They will be hosting Stetson College. Or was that a brand of jeans? I thought it was a cologne. Stetson for men. I think it's an all-men's college. Or it's an all-men's cologne. Women can wear it too. It's 2019. Screw it. if you're a former fighter pilot and you think your name's Zoe and you threaten to beat up little Jewish men. But you're a woman now, so it's okay. Wear Stetson if you want. Or don't wear a Femi thing. I don't care. Man, I saw this bit, a small part of the Norm Macdonald interviewing Caitlyn Jenner thing. She looked more like a man than when she was a man. Like towards the end of when Bruce was like really going nuts and he was kind of Femi. Then you got Caitlyn there on the Norm Macdonald show. And it just looks like a dude in a dress. Well, I'm shut down forever. That'll probably do it. Cleveland Cavaliers play tonight. Bet you Caitlyn Jenner wears Stetson cologne. Man, I hope the Cavs at least keep it tight. Play a good game. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to have a tough go of it this year. I got to give Beeline credit for doing a good job. When you have Kevin Love sitting out ball games, it's not going to help you out. I'm not thrilled about that. Kevin Love, I think he's just trying to lengthen out his career because he knows the talent that he has and that he can stick around if he's not playing every night. But he's not playing enough nights. Get that whole gung-ho, first 11, I'm starting everyone. And then it just becomes like, I've got to sit out like 3 of the next 4, 6 of the next 8. Oh, damn it, Kevin. Come on, Kevin. I think that's a Home Alone reference. Kevin Love, get out there. Stop being like your lame-ass uncle and screwing up stuff for everybody else. The Beach Boys were an all right band if it weren't for Mike Love. Kevin Love, this Cavs team would be a good team if you didn't keep getting in team's way by not playing. Whereas Mike Love would have made the Beach Boys better by not being around. Kevin Love is making the Cavs a worse team by not being around. So be around and not just like hanging out on the bench in a sweater, the sports coat on.
He's trying to be Mr. Rogers.
He's wearing it was a turtleneck. He looks like a fool, a damned fool. What a guy from California would think that you would wear when it's cold outside. At least it wasn't Mike Love who introduced the band to Charles Manson. As the other Love. Guy's named Love just screwing it up for everybody else. Dennis Wilson. Oh, it was Brian Wilson's brother. That's right. Dennis Wilson said, hey, everybody, meet Charlie Manson. He's got this song, and he says Helter Skelter's about a white race revolution. Race wars. Which you shouldn't have on Black Friday. That's a bad day to start race wars. Any day's a bad day to start a race war. Anyway, Ohio State Buckeyes, they're playing them on Saturday, noon kickoff. Tomorrow at noon. Dumb time. Should be much later. Should be prime time. Nope, noon. So you're 11-0 Ohio State Buckeyes, 8-0 in the Big Ten, playing that other team who's 9-2, 6-2 in the Big Ten. If I got to give you a prediction, I'm going to say 49-38. I'm going with it. 49-38, Ohio State Buckeyes defeating the huge Jackmans. That's what I'm going with. Chase Young will have a big game. Another couple of sacks for him. J.K. Dobbins rushed for 150 or so yards, a couple TDs. And Justin Fields will take care of business. Probably throw a couple of touchdown passes. Maybe run for one himself. It's already 5 of your 7 TDs. Master Teague might run one in. Defense score one of their own. But as you heard, I'm going 49-38. This Buckeyes defense is quite possibly the best I've seen. They're going to give up some points. Michigan, they've looked good these last 4 weeks. Mostly against some scrubs. But I don't know. I see it more likely that it's high scoring than that it be 24-21 or something like that. Each team will score their points. It'll really get away from both teams' defenses as the second quarter progresses and late into the third, going into the fourth. That's just what I'm going with. Because, I mean, the last game we saw Ohio State play, it was earlier in the third quarter in which the fumbleitis occurred. So I still think maybe they turn the ball over once. That'll be about it for Ohio State. They're not going to crap the bed, if you will. Here's something I don't like about the Browns-Steelers game. As this will be pretty much it. Got about 10 minutes left. The Browns are like favored. I mean, people expect the Browns to win this game. Those are the predictions, all of that nonsense. It's good to go in there with confidence. I'm fine with that. I don't like that there are so many talking heads anymore. So many odds makers, everybody. All sorts of outlets. They have the Browns winning this football game. I'm not there yet. I want to see it happen. I'm saying the Browns force 7 turnovers. Win the thing 51-0. Because that's what I would like to see. Do I think that's what will happen? I'm not going to just flat out say Browns are winning this game. Say the final score is 24-7 Pittsburgh. I'm doing it because you know what? Every time I pick the Browns, but since I'm aware of it, will it keep going? Since I'm aware that when I pick the other team to win, I'm doing it just so that the Browns will win. But then will the Browns lose if I pick the other team to win? So where am I going? I don't know, but I have to keep doing it. I'm going to start predicting that the games just never end and that instead Bane shows up like in that Batman movie and there's a huge man-made earthquake and all the Steelers fall and are swallowed up by the earth. That happened in one of the Batman movies. And it's the Steelers. They filmed that part there at that Heinz Stadium. Oh, is it Heinz Stadium? I called it PNC Bank earlier. That's where the baseball team plays. It's all Pittsburgh. It's actually supposed to be a very beautiful city. That baseball park is wonderful. Their downtown is nice. But it's a crap hole. That crap hole city. Just because I hate them. And they say all the same stuff about Cleveland. We're all morons up here too. And some of us are. It's funny to get blocked on Twitter just for a response. I mean, a back and forth. The woman was like downright mean to me to start with. So I was crude too. But it was funny because she got right to, what was it? Don't you have anything better to do with your time? And like acted like she won and just flat out, blocked me. And it was too bad that I couldn't then respond because it takes 2 to tango. She had to keep responding to me because I wasn't just going to stop talking. And on top of it, she's the one who said goodbye forever and then kept talking. Goodbye forever means, I'm never going to respond to you ever again. Blocking someone else, I guess, means you are going to stop talking to them forever, I guess. Till she pops up in something in the next week or so. Like after the Browns-Steelers game. It's going to be an unblock, especially if the Steelers do win it. And it's like, yeah, you dumb Browns fans, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I was just trying to have a discussion with you about how the whole thing started, that Browns fans shouldn't talk crap. And mind you, it's still only about 20% of us. And they're probably more bandwagoner us because those guys have come back. We knew they would. Hey, bandwagoners. And they're in the hunt, playoff hunt. We're going to be fans again. We're going to stop just complaining all the time. Like when we were at 2-6. And it was just about how the Browns have no right to talk smack. Browns fans, because most of the real Browns fans aren't talking smack. We might make comments, but those were funny. And it comes down to, because they went 50 years between championships. Yeah, that was our longest drought too. And it happened. The city of Pittsburgh went 35 years between championships at one point, and they had both a football and a baseball team. Their football team actually didn't win anything in that whole time. Not that, I mean, technically it goes back to our football team being the last one to win until our basketball team won. Our baseball team. It's too bad. They're actually the best of the three franchises too. But the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1925 to 1960 didn't win a championship. And we know the Steelers, they didn't even play in a playoff game until the 70s, I think is what it was. NFL, all of that. And I love how people go on about how the NFL is different now. And it is harder to win a championship. As I give the Steelers more credit for that year that they beat the Seahawks than the four that they won in the 70s. Quite frankly, the Steelers could have had a couple more of those. Immaculate reception. Anyway, I mean, it happened. I'm glad that it's not like you can change the ruling based on the camera angles that we have now, or like the fact that you can zoom in on the photo, you see the ball hit the ground. And it's 45 years later. We're not changing that. It's what happened. Same with the fumble Ruski. So the Raiders should have had one less too. And so ultimately, cheaters cheat. Both teams are full of cheaters. So, just because of years. So 50 years, no, you don't. But 35-year drought, that's fine. She attacked me, and it was a back and forth. And it takes two to tango. She kept saying, "Oh, do you have nothing better to do with your life?" It's like, you're in this too. You keep saying things. It's not like I'm just making this all up and I'm all alone in this. So kind of. Dad's got a prediction. Over to associate producer Dad's prediction.
I think it should be a close game. That's all I'll say. I don't know who's going to win, but it should be close.
As I look at how good the Steelers defense is, what the Browns offense has shown to be able to do these last 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks, where the Steelers offense sits right now and what the Browns defense can do, the Browns should win by 10 points.
Yeah, that sounds about right, about 10.
The final score is going to be something like 27-17. If I had to just really just go analytical me, that's what I'm going with. Now I'm saying Pittsburgh 24-7 over the Browns because I have to do that as myself, as that superstitious, I'm going to wear the same t-shirt I've worn the last 3 games and the same hat I've worn the last 3 games because that's me. And I have to say that the Browns are going to lose. But then at the same time, I wanted to be 1989 season opener, Browns force 7 turnovers, score defensive touchdowns. Bernie was just on the radio recently. Bernie Kosar, he said, we didn't have a good offensive game that day. I think we only scored 3 touchdowns as an offense, and one of them was because we started at the 2-yard line and we just had to walk in. I want to see the Browns do that to the Steelers because the Steelers need that done to them. With that being said, yeah, Browns probably win this one 23-17, something like that. But yeah, I've got the Steelers winning at 24-7. Now, the thing is, though, is around the NFL, the Bills are going to make the playoffs this year. Like I said, unless there's some collapse here. And we got this Pittsburgh thing coming up for the Browns. So that nixes that out. We've got the Colts hosting Tennessee and Jacksonville at home against Tampa Bay. You know what? I'm going to throw away Jacksonville for now because we're ahead. We moved ahead of Jacksonville. Screw it. No need for that right now. Maybe I'll bring it back. So the big turn of events as it is right now is Indy facing Tennessee. And I would have to say for the Browns' best interest, I don't know. Maybe that game ends in a tie. I mean, no, then they're both ahead of you. You need one team to win and one to lose, obviously. But which one are you better with having lose? If Indy wins at home or if Tennessee wins on the road? Tennessee is supposed to be the weaker of the 2 teams. Do you just hope that Indy's coming off of a loss to Houston and Tennessee's coming off of a win over Jacksonville? But you need one of those teams to lose and you to win. And they're playing each other. The Oakland thing, I mean, Oakland's in Kansas City. Kansas City better win that game. Kansas City solidifies its AFC West crown. It's the whole reason why your game got moved from 4 o'clock to 1 o'clock, Browns fans, because Kansas City Oakland looks like a real deal game. After making that decision, and Oakland loses 34-3 to the Jets. So I don't know. I really don't think the Raiders are the real deal. They're waiting until they head on out to Vegas, but maybe they're giving their fans one last shot at kind of happiness in Oakland or LA. Oakland. And I don't know. It's all I know is this Sunday, and God forbid the Browns win and something crazy happens in that Indy Tennessee game. Probably better that Tennessee loses, because even though then Tennessee's still technically ahead of you, you have the same record. The Browns are like right within shooting distance of a legitimate wild card spot. I mean, Buffalo's got it, and then you're technically just outside because you're ahead of Pittsburgh. No, actually, even worse, Tennessee beats Indy. Tennessee beats Indy. You're that game in the tiebreaker behind Tennessee. You're ahead of Indy then, for all intents and purposes, I think. However it works. You're that close. Ew, I hate it. You know what's a lot of fun after you play in Pittsburgh? You get Cincinnati at home. So, regardless, that about wraps it up. Ohio State crushing Michigan tomorrow. That's what I got going. Browns playing Pittsburgh. The biggest game in the history of the Browns franchise. Well, not like, those first 50 years when they were a real football team. And like they won championships in the AAFC and the NFL, and they played, like in important playoff games in 1980, and then the AFC championship games throughout the late 80s, and real important games. This one is just the most important game since the most recent last important game. Which, well, what would that have been? When we were 2-2? Weren't they saying that about was that the Rams game? No, we had already lost that game against the Rams. Then we beat the Ravens. We flew out to San Francisco. Isn't that it? Wasn't that the most important game? And that was the most important game in Browns history. And so it's a little about 2 months later. Baker Mayfield, don't make mistakes. One pick, fine. That'll happen. It's okay. Don't rush it. Hold on to the ball. Don't fumble. Same goes for Chubb. And run the hell out of him. 20-plus runs. Another 7 or 8 for Hunt. Those two guys run for over 100 yards combined. Maybe even 150. They eclipsed 140 last week. Let me mind you, it was a bad Dolphins defense. They can't stop the run. But you're going to get you're going to have a rough time against the Steelers defense. Short passes, your 5 to 10 yard variety, OBJ, Landry, find them open, look for your third string tight end. It's why it worked for you last time. OBJ will garner double teams. It's why Landry's getting 8, 9, 10 receptions a game as of late, because you're finding them. Then they target him. The defense looks for him. That opens up OBJ some. You'll have Landry on those 5, 10 yard routes. You get OBJ on some 15s. You catch him downfield. I mean, you have so much available to you. Hit Hunt, hit Chubb on some of those screens. It's 13 yard, like halfback wheel type things. It's what you hit Chubb on one with the Dolphins. Another thing is the Steelers secondary has way too many of their higher tacklers. These are all guys like 49, 46 for Hayden. Hayden is your team's second highest tackler. There's problems there with that. And so I'm so surprised that they're able to stop the run. Is it because they're cheating up so much more? Start with the run. Try to beat them with the run. Open up that play action. Get all the receivers involved that you can. That's something that you'll have to get away from. Because in the Miami game, it literally was like 5 dudes. It was Hunt, Chubb, OBJ, Landry. And that was like it. Nobody else did a thing. I don't know. I said a 5th guy. I think it was one of the 3 tight ends that you have. It wasn't Seals, Jones, or Carlson. It was the other guy, whoever the hell the other guy is. And so, man up on D, stuff the run. They've got nothing going on running the ball. Force this Delvin Duck Dodgers of the 21st century, Hodges, to throw some passes. He'll be errant, strip the ball, get those turnovers. I think even in that 89 game, Eric Metcalf had a kick return for a touchdown. I mean, a punt return probably. And the game's not set up for that anymore. You're not allowed to return kicks or punts. And it's not going to happen. So that's fine. So win this damn ball game. Win this game. Then you'll reach 500. Then you'll be actually at the point. This local radio, they were already talking about playoff ideals. Like, oh, if we just do this and this and this and this. And voice of reason. And there's a few of these that we actually have in this town. Your Jay Crawfords, John Dosses, Jeff Phelps, voice of reason. Well, if we beat the Steelers on Sunday, then maybe we can start to talk about it, because then we'll be 6-6. Then you're a 500 ball club. Let's at least be a 500 ball club. That's it. That's all there is. Drop mic. There it is. You got one over here. You just drop it. There we go. End of discussion. I'm not going to really drop a microphone. The equipment here. You don't just mess around with it. These aren't toys. These are toys. Paul's got toys everywhere. These are toys. This is Paul Warren, what he does. It's MC Hammer Dog. Wait, these actually talk? How does that work? I met a woman at a bar who looked like this. And Mimi. Of course, I pretty much look like this. So, Drew. I'll play some music to send us out here, because that only makes sense to do, and then it's set up for the. It's not, because it's not the same song that I play on Sundays, but it's a song that I play for us to leave today. So play. I hit the button. Hit the button, Frank. Anyway, so nice to remember that it's only 2 minutes long. Keep that in perspective. I do want to thank anyone and everyone who chimed in. Basically just Epic and Dad. No Paul call. That was kind of weird. He's almost always calling. Jump over to the live chat. Look at that. Look at this too. I need this to be in a spot where I can read it, so I know that I'm running out of time. I'm already a quarter of the way through the song. All right. So anyway, but I do want to thank Paul for being back. I do want to thank my sister and her kids, and the nice time had with them and my brother-in-law a little bit at the house yesterday. Thanksgiving, this time of year, that kind of stuff. Be careful out there on Black Friday with your shopping. I know I make my jokes, but like seriously, you get that one out of a million people who's just crazy. You want to avoid that person. And if you are that person, avoid everyone else. But especially want to thank executive producer Dad. He chimed in some, helped out as he always does, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate anyone who was listening. If you didn't chime in on the live chat, at least thanks for tuning in. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I'm personable. Like I said, I make my jokes. I say my words. It's just words, just jokes for the most part. Except this Bloomberg thing. Like, seriously. This guy's running for president. We already did this with the Trump thing. Why are we going to do the same thing? Are we that dumb? I guess we are. Never should have had Trump. Bloomberg. It's all dumb. Can we get like people who actually do things, and not build walls, not claim that healthcare be for everyone? Because that'll never happen. Everyone gets free college. That'll never happen. Just things that pie in the sky stuff. I started rambling. Now I'm down to 10 seconds. So for Paul, Dad, Epic, everybody else, I've been Mark Warren. And until next time, this time has been the most recent. Good day to you.